It was officially tripping. There we go. It's the best we got.
Yeah.
And it is live. I'll do live chat. Miss Bell may not be on tonight. She's at home.
She at home?
Yeah, so she'll. Normally she's in working in Paris, but we can always share the recording. So,
okay.
Do you think I'm gonna move this?
What you move?
I'm moving this out the way.
Oh.
Let's see.
Moses. All right. Shalom, shalom. It's Wednesday night. Making the journey to Shabbat. And I guess I'll start with prayer. Almighty Yah, we give you all the praise and the glory. We thank you most high for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to get into this word and to get into your study. Almighty Yah, we praise you. We thank you for what all you are doing with the body of Christ, with the whole house of Israel, with all those who have attached themselves to your Torah. So Yah, we just thank you and praise you. Ask that you would pour out more of your Ruach. We may have wisdom and understanding. We may be able to edify the people, edify the body, and even in the edification part, we even edify our own self, when we're speaking or teaching or preaching or whatever we're doing. So, Yah, we just thank you and praise you. Just ask you to be with us. And Yahshua HaMashiach, and we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So tonight, the study is titled, You Can't Give What You Do Not Have, or You Can't Give What You Don't Have. Okay. Starting the book of Hebrews. Start the book of Hebrews. We're going to be in the 12th chapter. So you cannot give what you do not have. Okay.
Yeah.
Hebrews 12 and verse 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So in Hebrews 12 and 11, we see that chastening, being chastised, being in some sort of scenario or situation where you're on the receiving end is not joyful. Mm-hmm. It's actually grievous. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So it's something that you practice in. It's something you got to be trained in. Okay? That you have to be a fruit bearer. And the fruit bearer, okay, you have to be able to bear peace, or what we would say, shalom. Now, you can't give what you don't have. So if you ain't got shalom, then you can't give no shalom. If you don't have it, you cannot give it. Okay, you can't give what you don't have. Verse 12, wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees. Make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men. Follow peace with all men. Follow peace with all men. This is why people are struggle with relationships. They struggle with their communication because they don't have no shalom. I'll say it again. People struggle with other people. Humans struggle with other humans because they ain't got no shalom. And you're supposed to follow shalom with all men. You won't believe this, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Now, I ain't say that. That's just what the book said. Verse 15, looking diligently, lest any man fall of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness, any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. So if you have shalom, one, you're going to be able to get along with people. You're going to, when you're going through tough times or hard times, right, the shalom within you, right, that peace within you is going to help carry you through, right? And it develops a fruit of righteousness comes from that. But if there's any root of bitterness springing up in you, okay, thereby you may be defiled. So if there's no shalom in you, then there's something. You ain't just empty. It ain't gonna be no, I'm neutral. I'm on the sideline, player. You playing. You playing. Either it's gonna be shalom or there's a root of bitterness. Here's the example, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Now, if you remember in the story of Esau and Jacob, that when he said, Father, do you have anything for me? He was like, no, I done gave it to your brother. And he cried out, he shouted, he cried out. He cried out. He shouted up his voice. He gave a loud teruah. He shouted out. But his brother had took his inheritance. Now, if we remember, right, that he gave away his birthright. So look what they're saying. So we just jumped in the middle of this chapter, but they was talking about the people of God being chastened, and that the people of God being chastened, and there's no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which exercise thereby. So it's something you got to be practiced and trained up in. It's something that we would say, man, my mama or my daddy or my parents raised me a certain kind of way. You do something, you show something about you, and then you're responsible, man. Look, my folks raised me that way. Or so-and-so taught me that way. Okay. So then it says, lift up the hands which hang down to the feeble knees, right? This is in the Tanakh, right? It's in the prophets. Make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace, shalom with all men, and holiness. So it's hard for people to produce peace, which is the peaceable fruit of righteousness. It's hard for people to produce peace. They don't even follow peace. And if you don't have shalom, then how you gonna give shalom? Is it not said in the prophets that a child of us is born and he is the Prince of Peace? And if we are to be on the same page, then we got to have some characteristics that are the same. If he's the Prince of Peace, you know what I got to be doing? I got to be producing peace.
Mm.
I got to be seeking peace. I got to be able to give peace. Verse 17. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with till he was rejected. There was something wrong with him. Now the book just said that about having a root of bitterness in you. Okay, about thereby many be defiled. Okay, we're gonna understand. We're gonna look at tonight the power of being in shalom, or the power of being in peace. Right? How many times people have said, or felt a certain way, you ain't got no peace in your life. Okay, you can't get any peace. I want some peace and quiet. I wish things were peaceful. Sometimes in your own mind, you don't have peace. It's a war in your mind. Okay. Part of the problem is that you are not stirring up the shalom within you.
Mm.
There is supposed to be a shalom in you. Okay. A peace about you. So that, as the book says, when you go through things, though it's not good, you don't like it. It's what it said. So that no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, you know what that means? No excuses. Man up, woman up. That's what that means. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit. So it's supposed to produce, so something from within comes out. But it has to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got to be in there. All right, so the power of being in shalom or peace. Psalms 29. Psalms 29 and 11. I remember we just looked at Esau in Hebrews, and how he couldn't get a blessing. He was what? The book said he was rejected. Okay. The previous example said by a root of bitterness being up in you. So Psalms 29 and 11, the Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with shalom. So you want to be blessed? All right. Like, look, we so far off. You want to be blessed? Yah, bless me with shalom. Now you ain't gonna be asking for that. But this is something that is necessary for the saints. Look at it again. Yahuwah will give strength unto his people. Yah will bless his people with shalom. This is something that Esau did not have.
Mm.
He did not have this shalom. And you know what we find out when we look at this? Shalom is a noun. It's a Hebrew noun, something being descriptive. It comes from the child root word shalom. Okay, shalom, to receive or earn something. An example like earning a reward, but this reward that you get is within a relationship or a bond. You're in a covenant. Okay, so the verb, the receiving or giving, that action, the reward, the acceptance, the giving, the receiving is within a covenant, within a relationship, shalom. And from that you get shalom, describing, descriptive, right? May you walk in peace, right? There's something descriptive about you. Right. So now we understand when we go back to Hebrews 12 about how people going through the fire, going through certain things, going through chastening, and it produces something from you. Descriptive. Okay. Descriptive. So shalom is something that should describe you, or do you exemplify shalom? Do you exemplify peace? Now, if you don't exemplify peace, then that means you ain't got peace. And if you ain't got peace, how you gonna give peace? And you know what? Sometimes people don't give peace. You know what they give? They give war. They give chaos. 2019 is called drama. It's always something. There's no shalom. The final letter in the word shalom is the final mem. And the final mem is, or the mem sofit is different from the mem, because in the mem, there's a little gap if you know your letters. But with the final or the mem sofit, that thing is closed. Finished product. So Esau had a root of bitterness because there was no shalom in him, because he saw nothing good for his birthright. Do we see that? We see that why they use that example in Hebrews 12. So some of you give your peace away. Some of you give your peace away, and then you wonder why your life is the Ringling Brothers circus. It's the night of the Apollo. It's Beale Street in Memphis. It's a zoo. It's chaos. Because what's the opposite of being or in peace? It's controversy. It's chaos. It's war. So we have to exemplify shalom. This is something that people should see. Well, that's what the book said. That when you're going through stuff, chastening doesn't seem good, but it produces something, the peaceable fruit of righteousness. So you're producing something, and when you produce this fruit is called peace, and it has a certain smell to it. It's called righteousness. It's got a certain taste to it. It's called righteousness. It's got a certain look to it. It's called righteousness. And then later on in that same chapter, they said, be at peace with all men. So in Psalm 29:11, so now Yah will give strength unto his people. Yah will bless his people with shalom. So see, the people of Yah, you got to have shalom. So you want to claim that you, whatever you claim you are, be in shalom. The book say he's going to bless his people with shalom. Okay. But when you're stuck in a war zone in your mind, you're stuck in a war zone with your mouth, you stuck in a war zone with whatever you into riff raff about, whatever. Okay. So let's look at let's go back to Hebrews 12, and then we're going to go to James 3. So go back to Hebrews 12. So should make a little bit more sense now. We're going to look at it again, Hebrews 12:11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous, nevertheless afterward. So you got to go through it. Afterward, so you can't stop. You can't do the MMA. I tap out. I tap out. You can't tap out. Nevertheless, afterward, it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So you got to train. You got to train in it. You got to get used to it. You got to know when you start going through them low valleys, that's when you got to remember. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thy rod and thy staff comforts me. The peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace. Follow peace. Follow peace with who? All men. So that means you must be a distributor of peace. You are in the business of promoting and selling peace. And it should be very evident that you have this product. You have it. You're always in business. You're never out of business when it comes to shalom. Because if you're blessed, according to Psalms 29:11, then you should have shalom. So follow peace with all men and what? Holiness. Without which no man shall see the master. So this is necessary. Once again, you got to look, we're supposed to be like him. There's supposed to be some similarities. So you have to go through fire daily, monthly, yearly, cyclically, seasonally, whatever, because it's supposed to produce more and more and more and more. So at something that you need, part of your repertoire, part of your wardrobe is shalom. Part of your wardrobe is shalom. Okay, you need shalom, right? This is holy. Looking diligently, lest any man fall of the grace of Elohim. Well, how can a man fall? Well, if Yah has blessed him with shalom, Psalms 29 and 11, what a great fall. The Yah has given you peace. You mean to tell me he done gave you peace in your mind or your heart about something, and you still in a dryer? You still like clothes in a dryer, just throwing around all over the place. But he done gave you peace. So looking diligently, lest any man fall of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up. So this kind of start sinking in here. At least any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and therefore you be defiled. Well, what would this cause you to do from the inside? Then the example is fornication or being a profane person, like who? Well, like Esau. What did he do? He sold his birthright. He gave something away that he wouldn't. Like, who are you to give that away? For ye know that afterwards he would have inherited the blessing. So we know this, that when this happened, Esau was not in shalom. Esau was not complete. Right? He's sitting there with his aging father. Feeling what? Incomplete. He took from me. He robbed from me. Actually, you did give it to him, bro.
You did.
No force, no nothing. Your table was this. What David say? Let my enemies let they table be a snare. And then what he said? Well, that's what Esau. His table was a snare. Now we'll go back to. We'll go to James now. James 3. So we always give the example, and I don't know what, it don't bother me no bit. People say whatever, but what we, try to go about and try to keep things in balance about us being in those small sanctuaries, or us being these little tabernacles, and that we're supposed to have stuff. There's supposed to be stuff within us, right? And shalom is one of them.
Amen.
Once again, the opposite of chaos and war is peace. The book just said we're supposed to be at peace with all men. Okay? And it's not talking about, we'll get to it. I ain't going to jump the gun. James 3 and 18. James 3 and 18. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in what? Shalom. Of them that make shalom. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in shalom of them that make shalom. Once again, your master, your redeemer, is the prince of shalom. So therefore, anyone that he attaches himself to, or marries, or calls out, or brings back, or wants to take to another level, you must have what? Shalom. I mean, it's real simple. There's a phrase used sometime in coaching and teaching and stuff, and say, hey, you got to be even keeled. Can't be a live wire. You can't be so emotional and so want to jump up and down and pop your collar and dab and all that stuff. You got to be even keeled. And that's how we got to be in life. Sometimes people push certain buttons and you are just like Esau. You give your shalom away. I don't want it. I want to act a fool. I'm gonna swap out. He swapped out his birthright for some lentils. Sometimes we swap out our shalom so I have the right to act a fool. That's why that's the root of bitterness is talking about in that book in Hebrews 12. Okay, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace, or shalom. Okay, hope that makes sense. Romans 12. Romans 12. And sometimes when you look at some of the requirements of being a saint, being a peace bearer, Sometimes you don't want to do that.
Mm.
You like to run your mouth.
Mm.
You like to act a certain way, do a certain thing, or like to whatever it is you like to do. Is like no, this is a part of the job requirement. Okay. Romans 12:18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, like with all your might. Like how the book say, to love your Yah Elohim with all your heart, with all your might, with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your might.
Mm-hmm.
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. And you won't believe what Yahshua said. Love you. He said, what's the greatest commandment? Love your Lord, love the Lord thy God with all your heart, mind, strength, and your mind. Oh, and love your neighbors the same. But I know, get rid of New Testament though. Once again, New Testament is gonna direct you on behavior and how you're supposed to conduct yourself in a more modern era. Because trust me, in the early AD was way more modern than BC time. It is what it is. Way more modern. Just how we're way more modern than in Paul in them time. Modern didn't say it was smarter, just said more modern. So if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Live peaceably with everything you got. The Via Hafta. Right after the Shema. And thou shalt love.
And thou shalt love.
So, but once again, you can't give it. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Now how you gonna give it? But you act like you got it though. You act like you in Shalom line. All right. So as much as possible, it's everything that you have to live peaceably with all men. Okay. Matthew 24. And like we've said, each person is living in the time they're supposed to live. You are in the era where you're supposed to be. Matthew 24. And this is the chapter where the Talmudim ask questions about the signs of his coming, the signs of the time, right? And they ask about the signs of thy coming, and he right there. So Matthew 24, we're going to look at verse 6. Look at this. And what it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So what's the opposite of peace again? War. So you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. How is it possible for you, me, not to be troubled if you are full of shalom? If you are living peaceably with all men. But if you ain't living peaceably with all men, then you get into all the riffraff of CNN and MSNBC and the liberal agenda, and then the Fox News, and then this camp and that camp, or this denomination or that denomination, or this factor or that factor, or this team and that team, or whatever it is. If you live peaceably with all men, but since there's wars and rumors of wars, see you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So remember Hebrews 12, okay, that the chastening is not good, but it surely is necessary. Why is it necessary? Understand this, brothers and sisters. The best fruit is produced under pressure. The best fruit is produced under pressure. So you really want to know what you're made of? Don't tap out. Let's see how much fruit, the peaceable fruit of righteousness, can you produce. We'll stay in Matthew 24, Matthew 24:8. And it reads, these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Now, when you read that, see, and we're talking about being in peace and shalom and being at peace with all people,
Mhm.
even though all people might not be at peace with you. So now we understand what is being recorded about Stephen. Remember?
Mm.
And brother went in. He went in so deep, they wanted to chew him up alive.
Mm.
And as they are killing him, he's like, Yah, have mercy on him. You know what Stephen was full of? Shalom.
Yeah.
He was complete. Remember, the last letter in Shalom, Mem Sophit, is closed. It's a closed deal. So in order for, as we're moving towards this being complete in Mashiach, being complete in Christ, a finished product in Christ, to become tamim or perfect or just finished, you must have shalom, and a lot of it is necessary. Inside, inwardly and outwardly, because this is something people will be looking for. How do I know that? The book just told me that there will be wars and rumors of wars. People are going to try to kill you for what? His name's sake. Well, if you are full of shalom and then your master is the Prince of Peace, then you bear his name.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, because they ain't got no shalom there. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That means there ain't gonna be a lot of peace in the earth. There ain't gonna be a lot of shalom in the earth. But he that shall endure, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that was not what they said about the chastening, that you gotta go through it to produce the peaceable fruit of righteousness. That what he said, who are these in these white robes? They endured, they were slain for the name. So the best fruit comes from the most pressure. And I don't know what to say. There's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be a lot of pressure. And it's going to be something as, like the book say, like the world's never seen before. And we headed for it like a train on the tracks, and train ain't got no brakes. It's just where we are headed. John 15. I need a reader. I wish I had a reader. Well, look, I don't want you working too much.
What happened was I added us on the wrong channel, and so I had to share it out. You see, because the other one wouldn't let me upload it tonight on that one.
So we know we're still in the branch? Oh, okay. So how people gonna know?
I put it on Facebook. And I emailed it to Miss Bam.
Okay. So Yochanan, or John 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit. So you are a fruit bearer. There's just no, you got to bear fruit. There's just no, you're hired, man. You want to walk with me? Fine. You got to bear some fruit. Every branch of me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purges it. So if you are a producer for the kingdom, if you are a producer, then you must go through purging. Let's go back to that Hebrews 12 again. Hebrews 12 and 11. If you are a producer, you got to get purged. And I ain't talking about the Persian movie.
Hebrews 12 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
It says, now no chastening seems to be joyful
Mm-hmm.
for the present,
Mm-hmm.
but painful. Nevertheless, afterward it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it.
So this is something that is necessary because Yah is like, look, I put a lot of seeds in you. I put a lot of stuff deep, and it ain't gonna come out unless you get squeezed. And when it's like them Candy Crush games. You know, you got to crush so much candy to get to the next level of candy. Well, he can't get to these other seeds can't come out. Okay, until these other seeds get produced and brought out. Okay, so beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Yes.
Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself. So you can't be no solo swanger. Okay, you can't be zero. You can't be solo. You can't be me, myself, and I. You can't do that. That ain't gonna work. You can't be you just can't do it. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, if you abide in me. I am the vine, and ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. Okay. So we have to understand that. Okay. Luke 11. Right. We can't do nothing without him. Okay, you ain't nothing but a walking stick. It's a walking stick. He's a walking stick man, little hangman. Luke 11:20. But if I with the finger of Elohim cast out devils, no doubt the kingdom of God has come upon you. When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. Now we're gonna look at this. When a strong man is armed, he keepeth his palace. What did Yah tell Adam to do? He told him two things: shamar, and what was the other one?
Keeping till.
Till.
Oh, work it. Yeah.
Till, which means in Hebrew, avad.
Okay.
Avad. So shamar and avad. So shamar, keep, watch, guard. So a strong man, armed, keepeth or shamars the palace, and the goods are in peace. They're in shalom, and shalom can bring completion to something. Because when you are in peace, when you are in shalom, your mind is at ease, right? Your mind needs to be in peace. But when you're not in shalom, when your mind all over the place, bouncing like a ping pong ball between Tokyo's two champions, ball going back and forth. That's folks' mind, back and forth, back and forth. There's no shalom, then there's no rest. That means there's no peace. There's no good flow. It's just you just a mess. You just a mess. You all over the place. So when a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are at peace or at shalom, or they're safe, they're good. Okay, so you are supposed to guard, right, your temple, because what you don't want is someone coming in and snatching your peace. What you don't want is somebody creeping in. They didn't come through the front door, but they came in some other kind of way, and they took your peace. And when they took your goods, you were in disarray. You got robbed. John 10:10. Please. Yeah. John 10:10. Oh, you fine.
Okay.
I'm just looking at your beauty.
John 10:10.
Mhm.
The thief does not come except to steal,
To steal,
to kill,
to kill.
and destroy.
The thief comes to do what?
Steal,
Steal,
kill,
kill.
and destroy.
And then the master just teach you in Luke that if I with the finger of Elohim cast out devils, is the devil the dark, is that your friend? They're not your friend. So now we are getting blueprints because Shaul says this war is spiritual. So if I with the finger of Elohim cast out devils, know that the kingdom of Elohim has come upon you. I think early talks about that the kingdom of Elohim is what? Within. Where's your shalom be? Within. Within. And then it is shown as the peaceable fruit of righteousness. It tastes like righteousness. It looks like, smells like. It should draw people. That's that light.
Amen.
That's that light that draws people to you because you have something to give them. But since you don't have shalom, you've been robbed. Folks done kicked down your door with the ski mask on and sawed off and kicked down your door and done all this stuff and have taken from you. So apparently you have something within you that can cause the darkness to flee, or you can demand them to leave. So therefore, I'm going to John 10:10 again.
Oh, yes, sir. The thief does not come.
So he only comes for a few reasons. To steal. To steal what from you? What is it that you have that if he takes from you, you are in disarray? I ain't gotta just kill you. I can steal something from you. And now you're a mental mess. You are a wreck. And you are no different than a drunk driver. In an 18-wheeler. On a 4-lane in Atlanta somewhere. 4, 5, 6 lanes. And you drunk. Driving an 18-wheeler truck. Help us. Does that make sense? That shalom is within now. We have to produce. We gotta produce it. Okay, don't lose it. Don't let nobody take it. That's why you gotta be strong and armed and protect your palace. Protect your goods. That's something that is remember Psalms 9:11. Yah will bless his people with what? Shalom. That's something that's special. Don't let people take your peace. That's why you can't worry about what stuff that people say. Especially if it ain't true. Now, if it's true, it's one thing. But if it ain't true, wad off your back. If it ain't true, they bearing false witness. Let's look at Genesis 15:15. We've been talking about this in the last couple weeks for just our regular service. Genesis 15, and remember, it's something special now, according to Psalms, that Yah bless you with. Genesis 15:15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers. This is Yah talking to Abraham. Okay, and he said some very stout stuff about the people of his progeny, and gave him a certain time and how Yah, what he would do and how he would do. And he said, thou shalt go to thy fathers in shalom. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Wow, wait a minute. So you can die in shalom. You can die in peace. Just to let you know that there's another step in death. So now in that, so when just even that alone, you can really sit back and start peeling back on the resurrection. To taking off one tabernacle and put on another, and it being so glorious because you died in shalom. Don't worry about it. You have to go back and just go back. Go all the way back to what we looked at in Hebrews 12. So he talking to Abraham, and this is a promise. He's like, look here, man. You're going to go to thy fathers in peace. What was his fathers? Wasn't his daddy off a little bit? But he had a line of Methuselah, Enoch, Noah, Shem. So he's going to go to his fathers in shalom, in a completed, peaceful, good place. So that makes sense for a lot to be resurrected and to be like how he was. He came up in what? Glory. He came up, it was wonderful. Because even though it seemed like Yahshua was obviously going through it, but we should hopefully have Hebrews 12 and 11 drilled in our brain off tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he was the chastening, but he produced something, didn't he? When he got up, didn't he? One some produced, and it was very visible. The peaceable fruit of righteousness. So this makes sense about those being lifted and raised up, the saints that were slain, because they went to their death in what? Shalom. The power of peace now. But you can't give it if you ain't got it. You can't give it. You sitting here walking around here as a little temple, little sanctuary, Yah, and like, I need some shalom. I'm all out. I mean, your shop gonna get closed. The husband gonna come by and shut down your shop. Isaiah 26. Some more?
I'm gonna go get some.
Then left me at the altar. That's Isaiah 26. Trying to make me start coughing. All that cough. Isaiah 26 and 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will God appoint for our walls and bulwarks. Open ye gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Thou will keep him in perfect peace. Thou will keep him in perfect peace. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Trust in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength. That's just Bible. Thou will keep him in perfect peace. Why? Whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. It's got to have our mind right. Okay, if our mind ain't right, then how we gonna be right? How can we completely serve? Right. How can we produce fruit? How do we know if we're producing fruit? Well, some things we talked about that shalom is a noun. It's, describing a person, place, thing, or idea. Okay, does shalom describe you? And if not, if it doesn't describe you, then how you giving it? Because we're supposed to be in a covenant or in a status with all men, right? Seek peace, right? Live peaceably with all men. Ephesians 4 and 3. Ephesians 4 and 3. 4 and 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness and long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. In the bond of peace. In the bond of peace. Right? The shalom, this covenant, this arrangement, this receiving, giving, the reward. Like there's the shalom, there's a reward with it. Right? Ain't nothing like a peace of mind. Nothing like peace in your spirit. Right? There's nothing worse when you stressing or dealing with something. Right? Sometimes that's a blessing not to have to deal with those things. But when we do got to deal with those things, the book is like, hey, it should produce something. And it's worth it. Philippians 4. And the peace of Elohim, which passes all understanding, and the peace of Elohim, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through the Mashiach, Yahshua. So the peace of Elohim, which passes all understanding. So the shalom of Yah supersedes all understanding. Man, the shalom of Yah supersedes all understanding. Shall keep your hearts and minds through the Mashiach. Verse 8, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Let me just read that in Isaiah 26:4. I'm gonna go back because I don't know if I'm reading that correctly. I think I misunderstood. I ain't comprehended. Isaiah 26:4 or 3. Thou will keep him in perfect peace. Why? Whose mind is stayed on thee. This Bible. This Bible. Psalms 4. Rita. My Rita. Some folks, man. Folks, time to take they break, a 15-minute break, they gone. Gone for a whole hour. They were Bernie Mac saying, anybody seen Johnny? Let's go get us some water and come right back. Psalms 4. Hear me when I call, O Elohim of my righteousness. Of my righteousness. God of my righteousness. Right? So this shalom that is within you, according to Hebrews, that this peace, there is a peace of righteousness. Okay? And if this shalom, or if this righteousness is right, Yah imputes righteousness to Abraham. It's not him, it's what Yah imputed to him. So when we talk about this righteousness that we exude or we exhibit, right? We're just the reflection, but we're not the source. we're just a reflection of it. We're not the original starting point, right? But because we have some shalom in us or shalom about us, we are able to produce this righteousness, and it's visible. It's something that is very descriptive. O God of my righteousness, thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in a time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me to dwell in safety. So this puts a whole new spin on rest in peace, right? Rest in peace. Like, rest in peace to my fallen ones, playing that old Master P, miss my home and my homie going away. Let's put a whole new Psalms 4, put a whole new spin on resting in peace. Go back to verse 5. Stand in awe and sin not. commune with your own heart, right? Think on these things, right? And we read that in Philippians. And then we had Isaiah 26:3. Keeping you in peace because your mind is on him. Stand on, sin not, commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness. So instead of, in your bed thinking or whatever's going on, instead of doing a sacrifice of wickedness or doing something wicked or something unrighteous, the book says offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. Okay, so while you're in the bed, so you do this, and it says there be many that say, "Who will show us any good? Lord, lift up thy light, thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than a time that their corn and their wine increase. I will both lay me down in peace. I will go to sleep in shalom." And sleep. The book tell you to do what? Meditate on the law. So he's telling you to go to bed, go to sleep in shalom. Psalms 119. Psalms 119. (165) Great shalom have they which love thy law. Nothing shall offend them. All right, so Psalms 4 is talking about you going to bed in shalom. Lamentations. Lamentation, 3rd chapter. Verse 22 through 24. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. They are new every morning. They are new every morning. Didn't the Psalm 4 just tell you when you get into bed, be still. Go to sleep in shalom. So the book is teaching us to go to bed in shalom, to lie down and go to sleep in shalom. And then we get to Lamentations. Is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassion fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore I will hope in him. Let's look. Book like go to sleep in peace. Those went to sleep. Tripping, peeled out, powdered up, smoked out, doped out, drunk, throwed out. Speaking from experience, went to sleep all kind of ways. And the book like go to sleep in peace. So there's mercy is new in the morning, waking you up. Great compassion. Whew. See how the fire that we don't see? Never mind. Don't worry about it. So if you don't have it, if you ain't got shalom, you got to go get it. You ain't got it, you got to go get it. It's necessary. It's something you need. It's something you need. You want to go drive? You want to drive a car? Oh, yeah, I can drive. I can drive any kind of vehicle. You got your license? Do you have you need your license? You can't be out here and not have no license. You need this shalom now. You ain't got it, you got to go get it. You don't have it, go get it. Psalms 34:14. Depart from evil and do good. And you know what you got to see? Once you depart from evil and you start doing good, you know what you got to do? You got to seek shalom. And when and this part of seeking shalom and pursue it, you got to go get it. You got to go get it. 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3, verse 11. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek shalom. Let him seek shalom and ensue it. So he just repeating the book.
I'm sorry, what was that?
1 Peter 3 and 11. You gotta go seek. You gotta go follow after it now. Let me tell you something else. We're gonna close in the Torah, Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Because the book was clear about seeking shalom, right? It's pretty right. People agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seeking shalom. Let me tell you what else the book say about this now. Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Because people do this sometimes. Deuteronomy 23 and 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace and their prosperity all the days forever. So don't go after somebody else's shalom.
Mm-hmm.
Seek your shalom. Everybody should be in peace and should have some shalom within them, especially walking this way. So you can't be going after nobody else's, looking at somebody else. Because once again, this peace, this shalom is a noun. It's descriptive. It's describing you. So, do you exude it? Do you, is it visible? Is this peace, is it visible? And if it is, and you see it, that's good. But just the way they exude their shalom, it might not be how you exude your shalom, but you do have to exude it. It has to be seen. Okay. So, you have to pursue your shalom, not someone else's shalom. Your shalom is personal. This is personal, right? Remember Romans 12 and 18, right? You. Romans, yeah, real quick. Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So you have to seek your peace. You got to seek it. You got to pursue after it. Mm-hmm. How hard? Like how Pharaoh was chasing the children of Israel. You got to go after it. Mm-hmm. You got to go after that peace. But you can't give it if you ain't got it. Mm-hmm. You ain't got it to give. It's like somebody walking up on me asking for some money. I ain't got no money. I ain't got it to give. And I ain't got nothing in my account. I ain't got nothing in my wallet. I ain't got nothing laying around in my car. Even if I want to give to you, I ain't got it to give. Some of us, when it comes to shalom, broke. Broke is a joke. Got holes in your pocket because you constantly letting someone steal your goods. So if we're full of shalom, if we're walking in shalom, if we're peaceable, then this is easier for Mashiach to recognize us. It's one of his descriptive characteristics that he is the Prince of Peace. He is the Sar Shalom. And he is the Sar Shalom. Therefore, his people, his bride, his brethren, they must what? They must be peaceful people. Mm-hmm. Peaceful people. But with that being said, this was our Bible study. Okay. You can't give what you don't have. Being in shalom and something we're gonna need. Something we're gonna need, especially in the days ahead as things take place daily. There's stuff going on globally, and just it is what it is. And the Master warned us and told us about the wars and rumors of war. But be ye not troubled. The only way you ain't gonna be troubled is because you is in peace. You is in shalom. But you can't even fathom global stuff. You just ain't even peace in your mind. In your own mind, you are not in peace. So that's the little thing. Remember, our God, he big. He think on the big picture. We ain't got past ourselves yet. So that being said, peace and shalom to the tribes of Israel. Peace and shalom to all the people who believe in the truth. All right. And what is the truth? To do good, do just, live humbly, walk with men. Let somebody else Say it. If I say love the truth, they'll be thinking of something else. Be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
Do what's right. It's never wrong to do what's right.
Amen.
It's never wrong to do what's right.
Mm.
So with that being said, peace and shalom. And I hope that you got it so you can give it. Let me borrow a couple dollars of shalom. No, I'm playing. But with that being said, peace, and hope everybody have a good week, rest of the week, till we get to the Shabbat, where if we are drained, he will refill us. Amen. He will refill us, because it's our time to rest in him.
Amen.
To rest in him. So with that being said, peace and shalom.
Shalom.